Shit! Holy shit! Oh, fuck! Shit!
So, old mate Desi has avoided police for 12 days now, nearly 2 weeks. He's escaped, he's caused them to spend tremendous amounts of taxpayer money, probably between, I had Grok estimated, it's between $4 and $6 million dollars of taxpayer money. That's including the now $1 million bounty. Trust, dirty, corrupt communists to try to get people to inform on other people with rewards. Yeah, that's just the cost of everything as well. The helicopters, the man hours for the 450 police, the search, the radios, the drones, the infrared, the helicopters, everything. Between $4 and $6 million of taxpayer money. Well, I suppose it's it's not as bad as paying, $300,000 for, fucking Salvo's machete bin, which is, that's... Victoria's just fucked. It's it's gotta be the most corrupt state in Australia. Pretty easily, it's just a fucking trash fire. I mean, you've got Dan Andrews in the military parade in the top, right-hand corner of the fucking photo. So... I mean, yeah, Victoria's fucked. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up, that it's day 12 of the search, there was another dude in New Zealand named Thomas Callum Phillips. And this dude lost his custody of his 3 children to his missus. He took his 3 children, he fled into the bush. The reason why I bring that up is, it's a very similar case, very similar manhunt. Police trying to capture someone that does want to be captured, who fled into the bush and who was a pretty good outdoorsman. Old mate has now been on the run for nearly 4 years. He got away from them. They call off the big, huge helicopter search with all the man-hours and everything. That's very expensive to run. They call that off within... Well, in his case, they called it off in 13 days. Desi's on day 12, and I don't think they've called it off yet. But Yeah, they call it off on, what, day 13? And he's been officially on the run in the bush for nearly 4 years now, which is quite impressive. Like, you don't know these things until cases like Desi bring it out into the forefront. Like, Desi's case is probably a little bit different, because obviously he killed police officers. He killed 2 police officers, and he wounded another police officer. And a state as corrupt as Victoria can't let that slide. If they have their authority on force challenged even a little bit, like, that's probably why they brought in Mike Bush. And we'll get into him in a minute. But they were probably trying to use... Like, if you notice how quickly they astroturfed the whole sovereign citizen thing with Desi. Like me, I'm fucking probably what you would call a cooker. I'm an anti-vaxxer now. I didn't really have strong opinions on the measles vaccines and everything. It was kind of the untested mRNA COVID vaccines that, you know, killed most of the animals in the animal studies, and, you know, circulated spike protein through breastfeeding mice into baby mice, and the spike protein was, you know, carcinogenic and all that. Like, it was probably that shit and the mandates, which, you know, turned me into an anti-vaxxer. Like, I never really trusted authoritarian government. I think you gotta be a fucking retard to do that. And apparently most of Australia's a retard, most of Canada's a retard to do that, but... yeah. But, like, this whole sovereign citizen movement, as if we're all interconnected... no! Most of us are, like, fucking loners. Like, I just want to be left alone. Like, why do you think he was out in the fucking bush? He wasn't out in the fucking bush forming a militia. He wasn't forming groups in cities to organise protests like, I don't know, Muslim terrorists marching with ISIS flags over the fucking Sydney Harbour Bridge. Like, he wasn't doing that stupid shit. Like, what is this sovereign citizen thing? You're just trying to create, like, a lower class of individual that you can use police to persecute with it. And, like, that's AstroTurf to fuck, because, like, the anti-mandate protests, like, we're thinking these anti-immigration protests and these Palestinian march protests are big. They're only, like, a couple of 100,000, like, all up. Like, the anti-mandate protests were millions, to put it into perspective. They were like 500,000 each in each of the major cities. They were fucking huge compared to any of these recent protests that we've had. And now they're trying to, like, AstroTurf a sovereign citizen thing. Like, it'll work on fucking boomers and shit that just watch the news and don't think critically. Like, it will work probably on quite a few people that fucking vote Labour. God knows why they fucking vote Labour. But, like, that whole thing's just absolutely daft. That's absolutely wacky. Like, most of those people just want to be left alone. It's like the same as the Wayambala shootings, where the dude, his brother and his missus, his ex-missus, I don't know, it was strange. It was a bit of a throuple sort of thing going on. Coppers came to them, they ambushed and killed the coppers then. Coppers returned fire. Like, we've had 2, like, nearly Ruby Ridge, Waco siege sort of deals going on. Only these people were individuals, they weren't militias, like the Waco siege was, and like the Ruby Ridge siege was. Like, they were sort of Christian groups that had strong gun right leanings, right? Those ones. And that was just the ATF coming in and, you know, killing everyone, killing the dogs, burning the fucking buildings down, killing all the children. Like, it wasn't the fire that killed the children, it should be pointed out. It should be pointed out it was the fire mixing with the tear gas that created, like, some sort of cyanide gas. And that's what killed most of the people in the buildings after the buildings got set on fire. After the police attacked them for, I don't know, they were bringing in, like, new regulations while the militia was, like, modifying their weapons and stuff like that, which gave them the pretext to go forward and, you know, try and root all these people out, just oppress them, basically. But that's basically what Ruby Ridge and Waco in Texas was. But now we've got our own two in Australia, and we don't even really have strong gun rights in Australia. They were kind of fucking banned anyway. We weren't allowed to, use semi-automatic rifles and all that sort of thing. Like, self-defense isn't a reason in Australia to own a weapon like that, which is absolutely wild to me, especially when you've got stupid cunt far-left politicians bringing in Afghanis, and they're like, what, 22 times more likely to home invade and rape and that sort of deal. And then, like, as a point of comparison with Canada, you've got that fucking dipshit in Canada saying, no, if someone home invades you, you don't have the right to self-defense. What are you thinking? Like, like, the far left is just fucked. They shouldn't be in charge of anything. They're completely fucking retarded. Like, it's obvious you should have gun rights. You should have the ability to, defend yourself against aggressors. Especially if they're, like, invading your property with intent to either do harm or steal. Like, you also have property rights. You should also have the right to defend your property. And, like, that's to say, you should obviously have the right to defend your family as well. Like, who's to say that these people, like, they're already stealing. It's very unlikely that they're gonna, not just stop at stealing. Stealing itself is immoral. They've, clearly displayed themselves to have, no moral behaviour, no moral qualms about, doing evil shit. But yeah, apparently you're just not allowed to defend yourself against them, which is, like, fucking wild. You're not allowed to defend loved ones against people like them, which it gets increasingly wild when the laws start, just letting Muslim gang rapists go and Muslim rapists go, like happened in Germany the other day. Like, raped a fucking 11-year-old, and then the prosecutor and the judge let them go, and then, 12 days later or whatever, they raped a 13-year-old. Like, that's 2 child rapes, like, on the hands of the German system. The German system's a little different, though, because it doesn't function with a jury, it functions with a judge. But the whole situation is fucking wacky. Like, the idea that you don't have the right to self-defense. Like, Moses didn't even act in self-defense when he killed that dude with a rock. He killed a slaver dude who was beating his slave to death. He acted in defense of others to do that. So it's, like, wild to think that you would have Christian common law, which is based on Christianity, Christian ethics. You would have such a clear-cut case of that. Like, in the Bible with Moses, with the prophet who gave us the 10 Commandments, which is all fucking law is based upon. You would have such a clear-cut case of that. And then you have, stupid cunt, secular, atheist communists saying, you don't have the right to defend yourself against a criminal that breaks into your home and is trying to steal your property. You don't have property rights or the right to self-defense. Like, it's... like, it's just stupid. It's so fucking stupid. And it's so common sense, and it's just something that just needs to be fixed in Canada and Australia. Like, it'd be good for the countries on a world stage as well. Australia might face... Well, it won't really, because China's navy is no match for America's navy, and America's navy will crush China's navy if it tries to break out of the Philippines and island chains and all that sort of thing. But theoretically, like, let's assume China didn't overcount their population by 40% or whatever it was, and they still had a massive land army, and could threaten to invade Australia. They wouldn't be able to invade Australia if Australians had, concealed carry and fucking, 50-60% of the population was, packing arms, packing concealed carry, and didn't have any qualms, let's say. Any conditioned behaviour about, self-defense, let's say. Like, Australia wouldn't be able to be invaded by China at all. It wouldn't be a target worth invading. Like, China wouldn't have the resources to take and hold it, especially while it would be, fighting against the US at the time. Like, it's just common sense. It would be better for Australia. Like, the only people it's not good for are the petty cunt totalitarian kleptocrats in charge that want to charge the taxpayer $300,000 per Salvo's machete bins, which you can buy for like, I don't know, under $50 on eBay. $300,000 for them, and then rob everybody basically, and cause the largest decline in living standards in the free world. Yeah, like, it wouldn't suit them, because at that point it would be extremely hard and risky for a corrupt police force to attempt to impose such laws and policies on its people. It'd be a risk. It's always a risk when you're trying to do that against an armed population. That's probably what's kept America honest, and it's probably why the Democrats in America, which are horribly and woefully corrupt, always try to remove gun rights. They don't like the individual citizenry challenging their authority on force, and their authority on their ability to impose laws and policies upon them. Like, take Australia, for example, with, like, all of its fucking online censorship and everything. No one liked that. The petition got up to, like, a couple of 100,000, I'm pretty sure. Like, that's people going out of their way to say how much they don't like it. They don't like mass immigration. They don't like the housing crisis. They don't like any of this stupid shit. But they're ultimately powerless against the policymakers, which is a fucking serious problem. And it's because they don't have individual gun rights. They don't need to be taken seriously as a threat with a threat of force. They have local superiority in force with their police able to impose policy and law on them, because the individuals in Australia have been disarmed, which is a untenable state of things. It's going to have to change. Like, we're going to have a government come in, recognise an individual's right to self-defence. As a result of recognising an individual's right to self-defence, bring back concealed carry and everything like that. The argument's already been won on crime and criminals and gun laws. In America, it's all the cities. It's like fucking 19 of the 20 most violent cities in terms of gun violence are places where they have very strong gun laws, gun-free zones, all that sort of thing. They're Democrat run. Democrat run, not solved any of the problems there. Got horrible gang violence, usually through Democrat policy. It's usually black violence. All that sort of thing. The argument's over. Like, they can try and say it's the counties. They can try and say, no, look, it's all red counties, it's all red states. That's dishonest, because all of the violence is in the cities. Cities is more accurate than counties. Cities is more accurate than states. A county is a collection of cities. A state is a collection of counties. You can have cities within states and within counties that are more violent. And what is it, 19? It might actually be 20 of the top 20 now. I think it's changed. 19 of the top 20 are Democrat run. Democrat run into the ground with horrible corruption and kleptocracy. As a result of that horrible corruption and kleptocracy, they've usually tried to push strong gun laws, meaning all the citizens are disarmed, but they haven't done a single thing about all the gang violence there. As a result, horrible shit, slum, violence, shitholes, run by gangs, and the police have to face force there on a daily basis. The areas that don't have that, everyone's armed, everyone's concealed carry. So if you get some sort of lunatic in one of those areas trying to stab people, they're immediately at gunpoint. If you get a mass shooter trying to do that, they're immediately flanked by two people who are concealed carrying. In red cities. Like, it makes no sense. It's a stupid cunt thing. It's cunt totalitarian pieces of shit pushing cunt totalitarian law. Makes everyone more safe. Makes the country less safe, because if everyone in the country were armed, they wouldn't be able to be invaded by without. Like, it's the same reason why Ukraine got invaded by Russia. It was Democrats that took Ukraine's nukes away. Russia would never have fucking invaded fucking Crimea and the Donbass. It's like there was a chance they could catch a nuke in their staging area and just have their whole army obliterated in one go. Like, it's fucking common sense. And from there we get into fucking old Mike Bush. Old Mike Bush is a bloody gun grabber in New Zealand. He was the police chief, whatever it's called, in charge during the time of the Christchurch massacre. He used the Christchurch massacre, where a crazy dude shot a bunch of Muslims, as an excuse to grab guns. Disarmed the New Zealand population, took away all their semi-automatic rifles. So he's like part of the problem, and now he's in fucking Victoria trying to hunt Desi. Now, apparently it's not going well, because he's, not been found within 2 weeks of 450 people looking for him. And, eventually the freedom of information requests and all that sort of thing are going to, start coming through, asking to look at the body cam and see what happened. See if they haven't, just killed him and put him somewhere. Like, if you have a look at the comments on the videos on Facebook, a ton of the fucking people on there support Desi. Like, a fucking ton of them. A ton of them just hate the Australian government because they're a bunch of corrupt cunts. Even more of them specifically hate Victoria and Victoria Police and Victoria's government because they're a bunch of corrupt cunts. This on its face looks suspicious. Everyone, like, some of the most liked comments on these videos are people asking to see the body cams. Some of the most liked comments on these videos are people, showing support for Desi or saying fuck Victoria Police and that sort of thing. And that's after Desi has killed police officers, which at least in the IRA's case, when they began killing quote unquote innocent people, it began to look, turn against their favour. Public opinion, that is. Yeah, it's wild. Anyway, let's just say Mike Bush is a gun grabber. He's a fucking retarded Californian caliber Democrat sort of dude, who banned semi-auto rifles in New Zealand. He was probably looking, New Zealand is Australia already has banned semi-auto rifles and all that sort of thing. It's already abolished the concept of self-defense for the individual. So it's done all that. So they bring old mate in, probably to restrict even more gun violence, and they're trying to use an example that pretty much anyone can see is an example of them fucking persecuting an individual. The historic sex crimes thing, no one fucking believes you. They haven't released the warrant. They're not releasing it for scrutiny by saying, it could jeopardize any future court case against them by naming the accuser. It is an accusation. Desi hadn't been convicted of anything, so he's trying to strip his gun rights based off an accusation. That's kind of fucking shady as well. Haven't released the body cam. The body cam would clear a lot of this up. That's suspicious. Like, the whole fucking thing is just a corrupt mess. Which is what you get when you get Dan Andrews, who's fucking top right at fucking Xi Jinping's military parade. Former Premier of Victoria. Gave his blessing to Jacinta Allen. bankrupted Victoria with totalitarian laws during the COVID lockdowns. I think his state's got the most populations of Somalis and everything as well. So I'll probably see in future years to come the most Muslim violence, because they're all horribly disarmed like everyone in Australia. We're probably going to see massive increase in, gang rapes, all that sort of shit. Especially when they start bringing in Afghanis and shit, because apparently they're fucking retarded. Victoria's going to be a prime spot for that, because it's all rabid, retarded leftists. So you're probably going to see the most, child gang rapes in that state, as a result of their policy in stripping self-defense. And they're probably on their way to do this again. But, Australia's just dog shit, let's be honest. We need serious reform of everything in Australia. UK needs it worse. I think they just elected some sort of fucking Muslim to be in charge of the UK police over there, which is a fucking absolute retarded disaster, because, Muslims view themselves as superior, and they always give themselves the benefit of the doubt, especially against the non-believers. So you're going to have a completely biased, even more biased two-tier. It was already two-tier. Now you've got a Muslim in charge, it's going to be even more two-tier again. The UK is absolutely fucking fucked and trash. But, just an example of what happened in Australia the other day. And it was on the news, and fucking no one really paid attention to it. No one really cared. Police brought out a new policy that gives them the right to wand people in public and go through their pockets and everything in order to seize potentially knives and all that sort of thing. I can already tell you for a fact that they're not doing it against Muslims, which would be the prime perpetrators, particularly Muslim gangs who usually have the guns and shit, usually shoot up Western Sydney and Central Sydney and South Sydney. They're not going to do it in those areas because they're fucking retarded. Instead, they do it in pretty bad and shitty areas Warrawong and all that sort of thing, which is where they did the other day. They did Warrawong, and they just gave themselves the right to wand people in public, forget your right to privacy, forget your right to self-defense. We can wand you in public, and if we find a pocket knife or whatever on you, let's say you want to at least have a fighting chance against a Muslim stabbing attack. You at least want to be on it even ground, let's say, against a Muslim stabbing attack. Given, let's call it Iran's friction with Australia, you want to at least turn it into a, Tommy Lee Jones the Hunted knife fight. Let's say you want that to happen. Well, you can't. The cops have a right to wand you in public. You don't have a right to resist. You don't have no right to privacy. You have no right to self-defense. You don't have a right to have a knife. So they can wand you. They can look in your pockets if they find anything metal. If they find a knife, guess what? Their knife now. You don't have the right to defend yourself from a potential terrorist attacker from Iran. You have to just take it on the chin like a champ. Possibly be stabbed a bunch of times, possibly be shot, possibly be run over from policy created by our government in allowing so many Afghanis, Somalis, Eritreans, potential terrorist attackers into the country. You have to just take all that on the chin, because Albanese needed a PR stunt, and recently recognized 2 potential terrorist attacks by a weakened Iran. You don't get to fight back in any way. You have to simply be helpless to it, and wait for the police to respond to it. Let's say you see an opening and you can approach the attacker from behind and, quickly fucking shiv him in the neck or the base of the skull and end the attack immediately and save people's lives, save children's lives. Let's say it's like the the Southport attacker and he's going into a dance studio with a machete, and you see him going in, you've got your pocket knife on you, you could run up to him, you could stab him in the base of the skull, paralyze him, kill him, he's done, he's down, you don't need to fucking worry about stab dead kids, you saved lives, you're a hero. No, you can't do that. You can't do that shit. No, you've got to be helpless. You're not allowed to act. You've got to watch him stab little children. That's what this dumb cunt, no self-defense policy is all about. And it's obviously dumb shit. It is the exact opposite of what Moses did in the Bible when he saw a slaver beating his slave to death. No, what you've got to do, you got to sit back and watch that slave get beaten to death. You got to watch those little kids get stabbed. You got to watch a Muslim attacker, stab innocent people. If you do act, you can expect to go to court. So you better have a couple of tens of thousands of dollars for a lawyer. You will face likely far left corrupt judges that will seek to, persecute, I think that's the better word, persecute you for acting. Absolutely untenable state of things, completely against Christian common law. That's probably the design, because these atheist Satanist cunts absolutely hate anything to do with Christianity or the Bible or Christian ethics, logic. They tend to like evil. And, because they like evil, you gotta sit back. You gotta allow evil to happen. You can't act. You have no agency. You have no recognized agency. Because you have no recognized agency, you can only be a victim. You can only be a victim to everything that's happening. Yeah, completely unacceptable. Complete dog shit, completely unacceptable. That's not how humans work. The more of it happens, it's just logical that the more any of this shit happens, the more pushback it's going to have against it. The fact that it's what is happening is it's not gonna last, right? It's only lasting now because people don't recognize that's the case now. Once it's, recognized, oh, this is the case, this is unacceptable. Obviously I don't consent to this. Obviously this is dog shit. What are you talking about? Oh, look, it's every single action movie. It's the opposite of every single action movie you've been conditioned by and grown up with and learned to tell right and wrong by. It's the exact opposite of all of that. You've gotta step back and be completely helpless and not engage.